morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the Soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to answer the call of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. Dear ones, it's Christmas Sunday, and what a joy to welcome you to our much-loved Lessons and Carols service with stories from some of our extraordinary ministry team and lots of caroling. I want to lift up a milestone we're celebrating. As of today, our tech team lead, Art Nava, and his husband, cameraman Richard Brew, have been producing these services uninterrupted for 40 weeks. If 40 weeks rings a bell, it's because it's the same amount of time it would have taken them to have a baby. Please join me in thanking Art and Rich for their extraordinary devotion and skill. Thanks to the entire tech team, which has worked unstintingly to keep us together while apart. Thank you, dear ones. It is so good to be together.
Good morning. I'm John O'Connor, a member of the worship team. It's great to be together here with you. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. All of the hymn lyrics are included in the order of service and will be posted in the chat so we can sing together. There's also a link to Sermon Bingo on the homepage. Feel free to play along while Reverend Kim preaches. As we continue our virtual greetings, please say hello in the chat. Let's engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart.
To all that is chaotic in you, let there come silence. Let there be a calming of the clamoring, a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on you, that have made their home in you, that go with you even to the holy places, but will not let you rest, will not let you hear your life with wholeness or feel the grace that fashioned you. Let what distracts you cease. Let what divides you cease. Let there come an end to what diminishes and demeans, and let depart all that keeps you in its cage. Let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where you find the peace you did not think possible and see what shimmers within the storm.
close my weary eyes that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, still small voice of love eternal. Darkness when my fear arise, let your peace flow through me.
And so after the candles of hope, peace, and love, we light today the fourth candle of our Advent wreath, the candle of joy. In A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens tells how Scrooge was transformed from a miser to a joyful person after being visited by the spirits of Christmas past, present, and yet to come. Dickens concludes his tale on Christmas morning. Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became a good friend, as good an employer and as good a person as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and he heeded them little, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happens on this globe for good at which some people do not have their fill of laughter at the outset. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. And it was always said of Scrooge that he knew how to keep Christmas well. May that be truly said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, every one. Friends, may we all know the hope, peace, love, and joy of this season.
So this is Go Tell It on the Mountain, one of my absolute favorite Christmas songs, maybe just favorite songs. Very glad to have the opportunity to sing it for you guys, and I hope you will sing along. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Well, shepherds kept their watching over silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out out the angel chorus that hailed our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lonely manger, our humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow into the chat. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us how precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Despite having to be apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
Our first candle of sorrow is from Carol Fisher. I learned this week that our dear friend Dan Brotman was in the middle of a crosswalk when he was hit by a car about a week and a half ago. To quote Dan, "I flew like Mary Poppins." Dan has a concussion and problems with his neck and head. Please keep him in your prayers and remember to slow down if you see a pedestrian at any time, but particularly when they are crossing in a crosswalk. Our next candle of sorrow is from Harriet Rombig, a candle of healing from my friend Joel, with whom I co-teach a leadership course to inmates at the Concord Farm Prison. Joel, age 40, will be in surgery Friday, December 18th, for pancreatic cancer. He has a 5-year-old daughter. And our final candle of sorrow is from Amanda and Nick Jacobson. This is a candle of sorrow for baby Jay. We suffered a miscarriage on Friday just before the end of our first trimester. Dance on, baby Jay. We love you.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
Our first candle of joy is from Dan Brotman. This past Saturday, Arlington Street Church's very own homespun wild child, Etty, celebrated their 12th birthday with me. A birthday wish for my Etty. Never forget that you are this Father's break of dawn and the brightest star I shall ever know. Where spirits fly above, there is but one that belongs to you. So let it grow, and it will thrive on love. For it is love that sees us through. I couldn't be more proud. Your dad. Our next candle of joy is from Martha and Spencer Bonney. We are thankful for the gift of family, and we are so grateful for our new Arlington Street Church family. We wish for you that the love and warmth you've shared with us returns back to you even stronger. And our final candle of joy this morning is from Queen Cheryl. It was December 24th, 2007. I did not want to come here, but against my better judgment, I allowed a friend to drag me into Arlington Street Church. My friend promised me I would enjoy the service, but I had my doubts. Then Kim started preaching. It was as if she was speaking directly to me. Her opening words, "Someone give me a Jesus I can believe in." Where it all took off from me was then, and I knew I was home and would be coming back. Just like a hungry stray cat that shows up at the doorstep, when you let me in, I stayed, grateful to finally have a forever home. Thank you, my peeps, for this place called home. I love you. Happy 13th Arlington Street Church anniversary to me.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Please join together as we recite the affirmation and covenant of Arlington Street Church. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
On this day before the winter solstice, I'd like to share with you one of the poems that's touching my heart the most this holiday season. It's called A Blessing for the Longest Night by Jan Richardson. All throughout these months, as the shadows have lengthened, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, preparing for this night. It has practiced walking in the dark, traveling with its eyes closed, feeling its way by memory, by touch, by the pull of the moon, even as it wanes. So believe me when I tell you, this blessing will reach you. Even if you have not light enough to read it, it will find you, even though you cannot see it coming. You will know the moment of its arriving by the release of the breath you have held so long, a loosening of the clenching in your hands, of the clutch around your heart, a thinning of the darkness that had drawn itself around you. This blessing does not mean to take the night away, but it knows its hidden roads, knows the resting spots along the path, knows what it means to travel in the company of a friend. So when this blessing comes, take its hand. Get up, set out on the road you cannot see. This is the night when you can trust that any direction you go, you will be walking toward the dawn. So may it be.
Good morning, everyone, and hello live from Arlington, Massachusetts. I'm Mark David Buckles, the Director of Music, here with Julie Metcalf. And we're going to sing one of my favorite Christmas carols, In the Bleak Midwinter. A reminder that even the greatest love begins with that most personal of love stories, mother and child. In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago. homeless stranger. So the Gospels say, cradled in a manger and a bed of hay. In the bleak midwinter, stable place of Christ, Mary and her baby, Jesus Christ. Oh, what can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give him? Give my heart. Once more, child and mother weave their magic spell, touching hearts with wonder, words can never tell. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where our hearts are open, love is born again. Where our hearts are open, love is born again.
Psychiatrist, author, and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl believed that our suffering is healed by finding meaning in our lives. Frankl identified 3 ways that people frequently make meaning of their lives. 1, we make meaning through our actions, work, and creations. 2, we create meaning through experiences of beauty and love. And 3, we find meaning in the ways that we can, with courage, move through moments of unavoidable suffering. As a healthcare worker in 2020, I feel like I've had my fair share of meaning-making tools 1 and 3. I love my work, and every day I, and really all of us, move with courage through unavoidable suffering. So the meaning-making tool that I am giving myself to wholeheartedly this holiday season is number 2, experiencing beauty and love. And I am achieving this by having the most fabulous and fragrant Christmas tree possible. Every evening when I come home from the hospital, my Christmas tree is here to greet me. It's decked out in colored lights, homemade glitzy ornaments, and topped with a giant bow. I have loved many Christmas trees in my life. The trees I cut down with my family in Maine, the 2-dimensional Christmas tree I drew and hung on the wall of my first apartment in Somerville, and of course, our Arlington Street Church mitten tree that I built each year with Carol Fisher and the children of our congregation, which is no small feat considering we never remembered where we had put it, and each branch had to be placed in the base one at a time. This year, my Christmas tree feels deeply beautiful and meaningful. It is my light, my joy, and my creation in the midst of suffering that feels painfully unavoidable and avoidable. It's a reminder of all the trees I've loved before and all the people who've been beside me, admiring the shining lights. In her poem, When I Am Among the Trees, Mary Oliver writes, "Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, 'Stay a while.' The light flows from their branches, and they call again. 'It's simple,' they say. 'You too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine.' May we each experience beauty and love this holiday season. May we remember that we are the resilient ones who shine."
Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. Through summer's heat and winter's chill, your leaves are green and blooming still. Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. Oh, Christmas tree, you fill my heart with music. Oh, Christmas tree, you fill my heart with music. When winter days are dark and drear, you bring us hope for all the year. Oh, Christmas tree, you fill my heart with music. Oh, Christmas tree, you bear a joyful message. Oh, Christmas tree, you bear a joyful message, that faith and hope shall ever bloom and bring us light in winter's gloom. Oh, Christmas tree, you bear a joyful message.
In December of 1940, London was in the middle of the Blitz. In this dark chapter of World War II, German planes bombed British cities for 57 straight nights. Despite the mounting terror and devastation, Londoners were resolved that Christmas would carry on. They were so successful in finding creative ways to continue their holiday traditions in the face of wartime disruptions that this season has come to be fondly remembered as Blitzmas. Many families were separated and worrying constantly about evacuated children and loved ones fighting abroad. Since it wasn't safe to be home after dark, people decorated their air raid shelters and created community with their shelter mates. With the city under strict blackout orders, there were no Christmas lights in the streets, but Londoners enthusiastically decorated their homes and shops with the materials at hand. Newspaper cut into strips made delightful paper chains, and all matter of garden greenery was used for trimming. Miniature Christmas trees were in high demand, as they were perfectly sized for cellars and basements. Shopkeepers bravely hung tinsel across the front of shattered windows at their blasted out shops. The official palace Christmas card for 1940 features King George and Queen Elizabeth posing defiantly in front of a bombed out section of Buckingham Palace. Stringent wartime rationing inspired tremendous ingenuity. Families grew their own vegetables and carefully hoarded ingredients for months to make a festive Christmas dinner. Most gifts were homemade and came wrapped in newspaper or scraps of cloth. Outgrown sweaters were unraveled, with their wool used to knit new scarves, hats, and gloves. 80 years later, Eric Caddy fondly remembers the wartime Christmases of his youth as the best ever, saying, "The Tommy gun my father carved from firewood is still the greatest present I've ever received." Adults happily exchanged chutneys and jams, as well as practical gifts like homemade wooden dibbers for planting seeds and bulbs. The most popular Christmas present of 1940? Soap. Music was, of course, a defining feature of the festive Blitzmas season. Londoners sang together in their air raid shelters. I love this quote from an article that ran in Time magazine in December of 1940. Despite the bombs, life in the big London air raid shelters, where over 1 million people regularly spend the night, has become so standardized that many shelter Christmas parties are elaborate communal affairs with skits, dancing, and mass harmony singing. Families attended traditional Christmas pantomimes in record numbers, despite the challenges of staging these musical theater productions in wartime. Challenges that included finding new venues as theaters were destroyed and positioning rooftop snipers to watch for bombers as children rehearsed below. Some of our most beloved Christmas standards were written during the war years and evoke the mix of melancholy, nostalgia, and resolve that marked the era, including White Christmas and I'll Be Home for Christmas. In the latter, a homesick soldier who is stationed overseas sings to his family, "Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams." As we approach this COVID Christmas, I am so inspired by the spirit of Blitzmas. Despite the extraordinary danger and hardships, the British people forged a collective resolve to celebrate the essence of Christmas. By reveling in the simple joys of beauty, music, giving, and community, they created a festive Christmas season that is still fondly remembered as the best ever. This spirit of creativity has important directives for all of us right now. Many of us are grieving being away from our loved ones this Christmas and unable to carry out our cherished traditions. But Christmas has not been canceled. May we draw inspiration from those who have gone before and demonstrated remarkable resilience in hard times. This holiday season, let's embrace the deeper meaning of Christmas and offer a life-affirming yes to peace on earth and love for each other. We are all in this together. Merry Christmas. I love you.
So this is I'll Be Home for Christmas, a song which I think applies to this year perhaps more than any other year since it was written in the middle of World War II. And it has that wonderful kind of nostalgia and melancholy of being far away from where you ought to be at an important time of year, which I'm sure many of us are feeling. And it also happens to be one of the better composed and jazzier of the Christmas standards, so I'm very happy to be doing it. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams.
One act of kindness that befell British writer Bernard Hare in 1982 changed him profoundly. Then a student living just north of London, he tells the story to inspire troubled young people deal with disruptions in their lives. This is what he says. The police called at my student hostel early evening, but I didn't answer as I thought they'd come to evict me. I hadn't paid my rent in months. But then I got to thinking, my mom hadn't been too good, and what if it was something about her? We had no phone, and mobiles hadn't been invented yet, so I had to nip down the phone box. I rang home to Leeds to find that my mother was in the hospital and not expected to survive the night. "Get home, son," my dad said. I got to the railway station to find I'd missed the last train. A train was going as far as Peterborough, but I would miss the connecting Leeds train by 20 minutes. I bought a ticket and got on anyway. I was a struggling student and didn't have money for a taxi all the way, but I had a screwdriver in my pocket and a bunch of skeleton keys. I was so desperate to get home that I planned to nick a car in Peterborough, hitchhike, steal money, something, anything. I just knew from my dad's tone of voice that my mother was going to die that night, and I intended to get home if it killed me. "Tickets, please," I heard as I stared blankly out of the window at the passing darkness. I fumbled for my ticket and gave it to the guard when he approached. He stamped it, but then he just stood there looking at me. I'd been crying, had red eyes, and must have looked a fright. "You okay?" he asked. "Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be? What's it got to do with you in any case?" "You look awful," he said. "Is there anything I can do?" "You could get lost and mind your own business," I said. "That'd be a big help." I wasn't in the mood for talking. He was only a little bloke, and he must have read the danger signals in my body language and tone of voice, but he sat down opposite me anyway and continued to engage me. "If there's a problem, I'm here to help. That's what I'm paid for." I was a big guy in my prime, so I thought for a second about physically sending him on his way, but it somehow didn't seem appropriate. He wasn't really doing much wrong. I was going through all stages of grief at once: denial, anger, guilt, withdrawal, everything but acceptance. I was a bubbling cauldron of emotion, and he placed himself in my line of fire. The only thing I could think of to get rid of him was to tell him my story. "Look, my mom's in the hospital dying. She won't survive the night. I'm going to miss the connection to Leeds at Peterborough. I'm not sure how I'm going to get home. It's tonight or never. I won't get another chance. I'm upset. I don't feel like talking. I'd be grateful if you'd leave me alone. Okay?" "Okay," he said, finally getting up. "I'm sorry to hear that, son. I'll leave you alone. I hope you make it home on time." Then he wandered off down the carriage back the way he came. I continued to look out the window in the dark. 10 minutes later, he was back at the side of my table. Oh no, I thought, here we go again. This time I really am going to push him down the train. He touched my arm. "Listen, when we get to Peterborough, shoot straight off to platform 1 as quick as you like. The Leeds train will be there." I looked at him dumbfounded. It wasn't registering. "Come again?" I said. "Is it late or something?" "No, it isn't late," he said defensively, as if he really cared whether trains were late or not. "No, I've just radioed Peterborough. They're going to hold the train up for you. As soon as you get on, it goes. Everyone will be complaining about how late it is, but let's not worry about that on this occasion. You'll get home, and that's the main thing. Good luck, and God bless." Then he was off down the train again. "Tickets, please. Any more now?" I suddenly realized what a top-class, fully fledged doylem I was, and I chased him down the train. I wanted to give him all the money from my wallet, my driver's license, my keys, but I knew he would be offended. I caught him and grabbed his arm. I just wanted to. I was suddenly speechless. "It's okay," he said. "It's not a problem." He had a warm smile and true compassion. He was a good man for its own sake and required nothing in return.
I wish I had some way to thank you, I said. I appreciate what you've done. It's not a problem, he said. If you feel the need to thank me, the next time you see someone in trouble, help them out. That will pay me back. Tell them to pay you back the same way, and soon the world will be a better place. I was at my mother's side when she died in the early hours of the morning. Even now, I can't think of her without remembering the good conductor on that late night train. And to this day, I won't hear a bad word said about the British Rail. My meeting with the good conductor changed me from a selfish, potentially violent person into a decent human being, but it took time. I've paid him back 1,000 times since, I tell the young people I work with, and I'll keep doing so till the day I die. You don't owe me nothing, nothing at all. But if you think you do, I'd give the same advice the good conductor gave me. Pass it down the line. This is one of my favorite stories during this holiday season in this painful year. I hope you can find hope in both the narrator allowing himself to be helped and hope in the good conductor able to give. Whether for you need to accept some help or you have the energy to give, I hope you see the hope all the same, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday.
People making list, buying special gift, taking time to be kind to one and all. It's that time of year when good friends are near, and you wish you could give more than just present from a store. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Oh, even the one who has everything would be so happy if you would bring them love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love. People you don't know smile and nod hello. Everywhere there's an air of Christmas joy. It's that once off year when the world's sincere, and you like to find a way to show the things that words can't say. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Oh, the man on the street and the couple upstairs all need to know there's someone who cares. Give love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love. What the world needs is love. Yes, the world needs your love. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Every little child on Santa's knee has room for your love underneath the tree. Give love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love.
"27 years ago in Billings, Montana, a rock was hurled through 5-year-old Isaac Schnitzer's bedroom window, which had been decorated with a menorah, a dreidel, a Star of David, and Happy Hanukkah. Billings Police Chief Wayne Inman said, "If we do nothing in the face of an attack on our neighbors, then we're accepting it." The community response, led by Margaret McDonald, was swift, defiant, and life-changing. Good people of all faiths put menorahs in their windows too. 10,000 menorahs. From that experience was born the Not in Our Town movement. Their core practices are respond quickly to the need and to people who are targeted. Say, I'll walk with you. Make your position against hate broadly visible, and don't back down. I thought of that story as I learned of this one. Last month, Chris Kennedy and his 4-year-old daughter, Emily, strung twinkly white lights along the roofline of their house in Little Rock, Arkansas, and stationed an inflatable Christmas tree and a towering black Santa on the lawn next to a joyful, illuminated sign that says, Joy. The Kennedys received a racist note signed by Santa Claus that said in part, I am a Caucasian white man to you and have been for the past 600 years. Obviously, your values are not that of the Lakewood area, and maybe you should move to a neighborhood out east. Enraged and disheartened, Chris Kennedy posted a photo of the note to Facebook and filed a harassment report with the local police and a separate report with the post office. His wife, Iddy, said, I wondered if this was the right environment to raise our daughter. Chris and Iddy began receiving a torrent of horrified and outraged messages from their neighbors. Evan Blake, executive director of the Lakewood Property Owners Association, publicly condemned the incident and visited the Kennedys at their home to assure them that they are valued members of the Lakewood community. And then something magical happened. Paula Jones, who serves with Evan on the board of directors, says, my first reaction was, where can I get one? She and her husband and 2 children put a black Santa on their lawn. Ben Keller and his wife were distraught. When we saw what happened to Chris, we knew we couldn't just stand by and not do anything. We instantly decided what better way to support him than getting our own Santa display. Chip Welsh, age 70, who has lived with his wife in Lakewood for 20 years, said that racism is not reflective of Lakewood and certainly not reflective of the kind of country I want to live in. We were all pretty concerned about it, and we decided it would be poetic for everyone to get a black Santa. This is the way it ought to be. And so slowly but surely, black Santas began popping up on the lawns of predominantly white Lakewood. So many neighbors have ordered black Santas that retailers are running low on supply. That's why Tim Janina and his wife are anxiously awaiting theirs. That letter is not what our neighborhood is about. He says there's no place for it, and we want to do everything we can to show support. For Kennedys, the overwhelming support has turned a devastating situation into a clear demonstration that the letter writer is an anomaly in their neighborhood. Chris says, the outpouring of love, support, and unity we're seeing from the community has been just incredible. People have been stopping by and honking. We've gotten cards, gifts, and letters from across the United States. Iddy Kennedy adds, the outpouring of support made me realize that this is the perfect place to raise our daughter. At the end of the day, says Chris, what was meant for evil was flipped for good. We are showing that we are truly better together and united as one. Back in Billings, Montana, these words are still posted on a neighborhood sign. Not in our town. No hate, no violence, peace on earth. Amen.
with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. Here we come a-caroling among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you glad tidings too. And we wish you and send you a happy new year. And we wish you a happy new year. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleigh song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh! Hey!
How fantastic is the Arlington Street Church Choir? Thank you. Friends, although the solstice is officially tomorrow, today is actually the darkest day of the year. A dark day in a dark year. So much of these difficult days has been easier. As we continue to care for one another, checking in throughout the week in the Arlington Street Zoom room and giving to the Sunday morning collection with astounding generosity. Throughout the pandemic, we are continuing to pay our staff and maintain our building, even when most of us can't even be here. How wonderful to be gathered in the warmth of this beloved community, fulfilling our mission, as in all seasons, to make light in the darkness. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to sustain all our good work by filling our virtual collection plate. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509, scan the QR code in the order of service, or visit our homepage at ascboston.org and click on the yellow Donate Now button, or write a check and send it to Arlington Street Church. Thank you for your generosity. After you make your gift to sustain our beloved community, please continue to share in the chat what inspires you during these difficult days.
I'll never have the power to control the land, or conquer half the world, or claim the sun. I'll never be the kind who simply waves her hand and has a million people do the things I wish I'd done.
There's always a lot going on in the Zoom room. This week, in addition to our weekly gatherings for loving kindness meditation, poetry, writing, Buddha's Belly book group, a tea party, and yoga, on Thursday night at 7 and 9, we will Zoom to Christmas Eve by candlelight. This service is considered to be the pinnacle of Arlington Street Church worship. Reverend Kim even preaches in a clerical robe. If you can't get to the church today between 2 and 4 to pick up candles from Queen Santa and her elves, any candle will do. As Reverend Kim always tells us, it's all the same light. In addition to serving as the heavenly host for the evening, the Boston Gay Men's Chorus is very generously lending us their Zoom room, virtually seating 1,000 people at each service. Please go to ascboston.org for that very special Christmas Eve Zoom room link. Please tell your friends and families, your coworkers and neighbors. They can join the Boston Gay Men's Chorus and wear tuxedos, or they can come in their pajamas. Plan to darken your Hollywood Square and come for the magic. You won't be disappointed. All are welcome.
Dear ones, we are coming into the final days of All Souls, a campaign for the preservation of Arlington Street Church. We've been raising money for phase 1, which will preserve the almost 160-year-old spalling brownstone on the front of the church, as well as rebuild the Boylston Street steps and build a brand new redesigned Arlington Street ramp. Construction begins this spring. The response has been wonderful. As of last Sunday, we had given $100,390 and we're up to 56% participation. Today, I bring you the wonderful news that we have given $117,539 and are up to 73% participation. Thank you. Tech team lead Art Nava is going to show you our progress on the graphic of the front of the church now, drawn by our architects at Brunner Cott. Thank you, Art. The stones are being filled in with our names, not on the building itself, but on this graphic. If you have given and your name isn't there yet, it will be by next Sunday. You can also see it at ascboston.org. Eventually, this beautiful drawing will be mounted and hung in the sanctuary so everyone can see what we did together. I want to say again that the largest share of the money will not come from the congregation. Our work is to demonstrate our commitment to this project. Our goal is a goal of 100% participation, demonstrating to potential funders that we care and are caring for our corner of the city. We have angels hovering nearby to help us get there. Thank you to Bill Briggs and Keith Perrin, John O'Connor, Audra and Sarah Mady, Jim Tice, Tom Anderson and Bruce Dallaire, and Dan Muho, who are prepared to give in your name if you are financially constrained. As you know, Lois Hartstoff started us out on this journey with a gift of $10,000. The following week, Lois's gift was matched by an anonymous family who were inspired by Lois's gift. And this week, Lois's and our anonymous family's gift inspired yet another $10,000 gift, this one from Gaby and George Whitehouse. Let's hear from them now.
Why we treasure Arlington Street Church. George and I have a long history at Arlington Street Church. It has been our home for as long as we can remember. This is almost literally true for George. So you go first, George.
Okay. When I was 9, I was singing as a soprano in the all-male choir at Trinity Church in Copley Square. And the church wanted me to learn the catechism so that I could be confirmed. I wasn't sure. I had many questions, having been baptized Lutheran at Brook Farm when I was 4.5, and later grew up in different churches. I told my grandmother about my questions. My grandmother, who was Jewish, walked me down from her apartment near the public garden and told me to go into Arlington Street Church. They would take care of me and answer my questions. So far as I knew, she had never been in the church. She just knew of it. I have been here ever since. This was like my home where I grew up. I joined the choir when I was 15 and have been in the choir now 68 years. I was treasurer on the Prudential for 17 years and then on the Prudential Committee for another 6 years. Next year, I will celebrate 52 years as a minister, community minister at large. In 2001, when the church needed help financially, we gave a major gift for the restoration of the church, from the steeple down to the sanctuary. We dug deep and made a gift because we were both working. At that time, if you made a major gift, you could name a pew. We named 3 pews, although we could have named more. This time, we wanted to help again because of all the Arlington Street Church means to us, its members and friends who attend, as well as the many groups who use the church, such as a Friday night supper program, feeding the hungry for over 20 years. The Gay Men's Chorus at their beginning, rehearsing with us. Agora, a Latino group which is using the parish hall. And the artist who is using the clock room. The church is always looking outward to how it can help others in need.
Thank you, George.
Go ahead, your turn.
Right. Well, I have been actively involved at ASC since arriving as a young divorcee with my 2 children in 1967. Having been born and grown up overseas, arriving in the United States when I was 12, I bounced around until settling in the Boston area and eventually moving to Brookline and coming to ASC on the recommendation of my aunt, who knew I would find a home here, and I did. After I finished my studies at Boston University, I had time to join the choir and have been singing ever since. I met George in the choir and we're still singing more than 50 years later. I got very activated and served as chair of this Prudential Committee, as well as every search committee. We know from firsthand experience that houses don't take care of themselves, and neither do churches. They need constant TLC and occasionally a huge renovation project. I remember well our last major undertaking in 2001, renovating the entire exterior from the tip of the steeple down and the sanctuary. George and I contributed to that project and feel that $10,000 is a fitting investment in our home now. During this pandemic, ASC has been even more central to our lives with the reliably regular Zoom events. Sunday services have been heartwarming, reassuring, and just plain beautiful. And the events during the week have buoyed our spirits. It would be a far more lonely time without all of our friends at ASC and without Rev Kim as our constant, steady companion. We have so much to be grateful for, and we feel fortunate to be able to contribute towards ASC's continued beautiful existence.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Gaby and George. Today, inspired by all this generosity, members of the Capital Campaign Kitchen Cabinet, Al Ingram, Audria and Sarah Mady, Liz Texera and Don Belamo, John O'Connor, Philip Roberts and Sarah and Patrick Cooleybeck, Tina Rose, Reverend Beth, Kem Moorhead, and I are stepping up to join Gaby and George in a triple match for all donations made before the end of the year. If you haven't given already, please join in our grand finale. Have your gift tripled and help us reach 100% participation. Please text your gift to 617-300-0509. The word is souls. Go to ascboston.org and click on the yellow Donate Now button, or send a check to the church. Thank you, friends. And now our Prudential Committee and officers have a very special message for us.
Okay. I'm Philip Roberts, Chair of the Prudential Committee.
I'm Darrell Waters, Co-Chair of the Prudential Committee. We're here with other members of the PRU, as well as our Treasurer, Liz Texera, and our Clerk, Doc Kinney.
On behalf of your elected board and officers, we want to express our gratitude to the Capital Campaign Kitchen Cabinet and to all of you for helping us to get to 100% participation in All Souls, a campaign for the preservation of Arlington Street Church.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry
Christmas.
Merry
Christmas.
Wow. Well, thank you, everyone. That was really quite moving. We're going to sing again. This is our closing hymn, Angels We Have Heard on High. 2, 3. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. In excelsis Deo, Gloria, in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why these songs of happy cheer? What great brightness did you see? What glad tidings did you hear? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. See him in a manger laid, whom the angels praise above. Mary, Joseph, lend your aid, while we raise our hearts in love. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis
Before our benediction, I invite you to reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square. Touch hands with the people to your left and your right, and send out love to the person on either side of you. And to the people on either side of them, send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. Our benediction is from Anglo-American poet W.H. Auden's For the Time Being. And now, let us allow Christmas to overtake us in all our haste and unpreparedness and renew the miracle of love in our lives. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your King. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.